I to no one's surprise except for everyone in the media, apparently, like Joe Biden pardoned his son, and I like had zero fault. Like if I had the power to pardon my son, we've talked about that before. Like if your dad comes to you, like, son, oh, I fucked up, had a few drinks, I don't know, I was that car, the pedal, it's stuck under the mat, and the next thing you know, I'm gonna get your shovel, son. That's all I'm saying. I'm with you. And,
don't be mad. I've been gallivanting with Ukrainian gas companies.
Yeah. That's the part that's a little fucked, because he pardoned him for anything he did or may have done over an 11-year period of time.
13-year, I think. 2011 to 2014.
I'm going to say 11 because that's the number I have in my head. And that is...
That's the best, dude. That is the gold-plated pardon. Like, everybody else who got pardons is like Hunter can stunt on that.
I don't like that presidents can pardon people. So Biden pardoning his son is understandable, but obviously corrupt, right? This is just not an equal rule of law. If his son wasn't his son, he wouldn't have got this pardon. It's not fair. Trump pardoned a lot of people who committed crimes on his behalf. Roger Stone comes to mind, Paul Manafort, Flynn, I could go on. But before him, Clinton was pardoning people who donated campaign money, and I don't know if there's any Obama ones, but there probably are. I can't think of anyone who's finished their term and hasn't done a bunch of pardons at the end that were dirty as fuck.
Yeah.
Why are presidents pardoning people at all? This isn't being used well. We should undo this.
I think it's always been I guess I'm not shocked because people are going to pounce on whatever, but the idea that it's shocking that the presidential pardon is just a tool to pardon friends, allies, donors, family, that's what it's for.
Trump pardoned a lot of people who were in prison for minor drug offenses. Toward the end, he had some guy he was like, go find a bunch of people that need pardons for me. Some that look good, maybe probably. And he did. He pardoned a lot of black folks who were in jail for a long time. He for nonviolent 3-strike marijuana offenses and bullshit like that. I don't know. I kind of like that it's a bit of a wild card in our political system. It's a little throwback to kings and queens of old that they have this.
That? That's not a thing we're supposed to like.
It's a little bit of it. We don't give him a scepter and a crown, but we do say what he says fucking goes. I like that. I like that we got a dude somewhere and what he says fucking goes. Don't you know he can have you killed and then he can pardon himself for doing it? Don't you know he can do that to you? His word is law. I like that. I like that.
The reason
it gives him that extra level of power where it's don't you fucking know that I could just shoot you right here? And they just drag you out of the fucking room and we'd move on to the next topic, dude. That's how hardcore the president is. I like that a little. However, I don't. The problem in this instance is that Biden has done this, and now you know what comes next. Now Trump has free reign because it's oh yeah, what about Hunter? Do we want to talk about? Do we want to relitigate that? That's his immediate redirect. If on day one, say he's got the pardons for all the January 6 tourists, laid out, and he doesn't even sign anymore. He's just got a stamp with that big goofy signature of his, and he just rapid stamps them all. If he pardons them day one, because one of them's 72 years old and she's got 2 more years to go. Her kids are saying she's going to die there. And
that one sounds wild. In general, I suspect that almost all of them are going to be out of prison by January. Most of them got a couple of months. Not all.
There's some of them who got
I don't have the numbers.
Years.
The people who got years were often kind of ringleaders, and there's all these texts and stuff pointing to their organization of it. But the tourists, the ones that obeyed the velvet ropes, they didn't get 5, 10, 15 years.
I feel you. I like having fun with it because I it's such a divisive issue that kind of flew over my radar at the time. It felt to me like it was overblown. However, I have certainly seen so much goddamn footage that I'm oh man, you guys are going wild. Whoa, some of y'all are in it to win. Holy shit. There's some folks in that crowd that but I've also seen like the conspiracy videos that go back like 10 blocks away from ground zero, from the Capitol steps, and there's this guy who's rounding people up. We're going, and it reminds me of Will Ferrell from Old
Ray
School.
Epps,
When he's
that
like,
sounds right.
we're going streaking.
Yeah, that's his name.
We're going, like he's getting people fired up. He's like, we're going here. We're doing this. We're doing that. And it's like, who's that guy? Who is that guy?
I don't think
he's an Oath Keeper chapter president.
That is.
That's a fed.
He's a former Marine and an Oath Keepers chapter president, and he got a misdemeanor count of disorderly conduct in his participation in the attack and got a year of probation. And that is part of why people think he's a fed, because that's not much punishment.
Yeah. If we're
talking guys like about the
my point is like I don't like the Biden thing.
He didn't enter the building. I'm sorry. Just want to throw that.
I don't like the Biden pardon because it gives Trump like carte blanche, I feel, to really go hog wild on day one if he wants with his. Did you see what he said about like the Middle East? That wild state?
No, let me hit the Biden. I don't like
the
pardon either, but I think Trump was going to do whatever he wanted with or without it. I don't think now it's going to be like, oh, we can disobey norms. Trump wasn't going to like follow norms in the first place.
Does part of you guys like is there part of you that likes the presidential pardon for no other reason than like it's just the most clear, lucid example, one of a litany you could name, but the most clear that like these people don't have to play by rules. They exist in a different world than us. They can steal, kill, assault. They can do whatever they want. They can do pay for play, like anything, foreign countries, and they can just wave it away. No, I think it's like it's a stark reminder that like they'll say like no one's above the law. It's like no, all of you are in a way. Like none of you play by the rules that any normal tax-paying American would have to play by.
Oh, come on! I just think that the president should have some extra powers. I don't know if anybody else does.
I like the president and governors, for that matter, having extra powers if I could trust them. But name a president who hasn't pardoned people for either campaign contributions or relationships or whatever.
They can get around the whole thing. Like George Bush was just like, hey, well, it's not really a war, so I don't need approval for it. It's not going to last like 20 years or nothing. I promise.
So Trump had the meeting with Trudeau this week. Once again, I love this as well. Like Trudeau has to fly down to Mar-a-Lago and bend the knee. Like everybody has to come to Trump. I appreciate that. Trump's in France right now, so I guess it's not ubiquitous.
We're America, dude. They got to come to us.
Well, some of them do. Okay. And so Trudeau flies. Trudeau's scared though. France isn't scared. So Trudeau comes down and the quotes from the meeting or something. Trudeau says something like 25% would cripple the Canadian economy. You're talking about $100 billion. And Trump said something like, your economy would be crippled if you didn't steal $100 billion from us every year. Maybe you should be the 51st state.
I heard that.
and then the quote is,
Greenland.
To which Trudeau laughed nervously. And then on the Middle East, regarding the hostages in Gaza, he said something like, there will be hell to pay if the hostages aren't released on day one. Hell will rain down on you like nothing America has ever done in its storied history. Something like that. Some crazy talk, like some crazy talk about raining hell down like never before. It's just fun again. It's just fun again.
America's back.
Such a fun time. Yeah, when Trump says wild shit, I don't know how to handle that correctly, right? It's sometimes I'm frustrated that people just sane wash it, right? Like, what do you? He didn't mean what he said. He meant what I prefer him to mean. That's one thing people do. On the other hand, oftentimes he doesn't mean what he says. He's just starting with a wild, fucking ridiculous negotiation position.
Yep,
and he doesn't actually. Sure. Maybe we'll watch and see how this goes, right? To say that Trump would never implement a big tariff, well, we'll see. I don't think
if he does, though, it's a squeeze to get to the deal, though. Like it's not like the new way around.
I've heard him talk about 200% tariffs on cars made in Mexico. I think that is just an empty threat, but we'll see.
Yeah.
And cars made in Mexico is like Ford and Chevrolet cars. That's where like if you go buy any part for like your truck, I remember we used to buy these fuel filters, the fuel pumps for like the Chevrolet Silverado, and it was like made in Mexico. I was like, why don't we get the good one? It's like, that is the good one. That's where Chevrolet fucking fuel pumps come from. They come from
European countries like have tariffs levied on us for stuff like cars.
Very common.
Or it's like if you want to sell Ford in Germany, you have to build it in Germany. Like your plant has to be there. And so like they're hitting us with it. And if we can actually get some gains, even just through threatening it, like doing what Trump does, which is, this isn't like a Trumpism of like, he's so brilliant. It's quite literally just like business or B2B is like, if you're trying to negotiate, you set the anchor point high or low, depending on what you want to happen. And then you move from there. Trump if Trump thought like, oh man, I think I could put a 18% tariff, but if I went 19, it would really potentially hurt the Canadian economy. So I'm going to threaten 15. It's like, no, threaten the moon and then make them pleased when suddenly he's like, okay, all the Canadians aren't going to be mad at me because it's going to be, it's going to be more expensive, but it's not what Trump was saying it was. So I can frame this to my people like a victory. It allows plausible deniability on both sides for that. Like if he comes in high and Trudeau talks him down to something much lower, both sides get to say they won. And in a way they kind of did. Well, we're the bigger winners, but they get to save face.
We'll see how it goes. Like Trump negotiated the trade deal with Mexico. He bragged about how great it was. Now he says it sucks. So
next year Trudeau's up for election.
See what he can do.
I think they do like 6 years up there, don't they? They have longer terms, I think, than we do.
I just imagine Trump being like Michael Scott in that episode where he's created the Michael Scott Paper Company, and he's like, "Let me tell you what I see. I see like a CEO who's got to go before the board next month and tell them that their most profitable branch is bleeding."
I too am a Hunter Biden fan. Whores and drugs.
Dude, you say what you want about the left. That Hunter Biden guy rocks.
When Joe Biden was vice president, I remember tweeting out because Hunter got caught with coke way back then. And I was like, I don't want to live in an America where the vice president's son is not doing coke and fucking whores.
Yeah.
Then
that's what we do
out here. And I'm like, okay, now it's getting a little weird.
It'd be un-American if they didn't.
Having a background showing Joe Biden falling up a set of stairs is so funny.
I just couldn't agree more with what they said.
You guys got clips for days.
The Hunter Biden thing was one of those examples where it was so crazy that they pretended like it wasn't real for so long. And I didn't believe it was real. I was like, it can't be real because everyone's saying it's not real. And it's so audacious. It reminds me of the Trump P-tape allegations. I was like, this is our version of the P-tapes. We're going to say something crazy. And surely it's not true. He's not fucking prostitutes and doing cocaine. And it's not all on tape. But he was. And we've seen it. And say what you want about Marjorie Taylor Greene. I'm from Georgia. So you got what you got. Her getting that poster of his cock blown up, being held like in that whore's hands, is a high point.
Dude, they'd find his dick in the field.
American politics. They'd find his dick from the fucking satellite. They'd send
Wait, someone stole my peanut. There it is. There it is, loud and proud next to that scarecrow.
I mean, my God, she has no shame.
She's done it twice.
Dude, the glasses low on her nose, like academically.
If she had a lab coat, on and like a pointer, it would have
crunched the numbers on the yaw of the shaft, and it's more impressive.
We have consulted with a mathematician and a photographic expert, and he has determined this penis is to be 7 3/4 inches. So I am subpoenaing Hunter Biden to have his penis hardened and measured to prove once and for all that this is indeed his penis in the photograph. Like that's.
Man, she's got such Ron Perlman face. I don't like it.
Does she?
I like it.
It's hard to look at.
She's straightly sexy. I find her very sexy.
Oh my! Come on.
No, I like the other one. Wow. The one who was getting it on in the movie theater. Yes, she's the looker
too. I think she was a sugar baby. That's what they say anyway. That she was on Seeking.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I believe that.
Dirty perverts. Isn't it funny when you look at lefty Twitter? They won't shut up about Donald Trump Jr. being a cokehead. And it's kind of based on his persona. Like he's got the square jaw and the white teeth, and he's like, "Hey, what?" So he looks like a guy who does a lot of coke, but that's just the movie stereotype. And you're like, your guy is leaving coke at the White House, and your whole thing is like Donald Trump Jr. probably does tons of coke. What?
I mean, it seems like the coke is the drug of the successful man.
Yeah,
right?
I get it. The Bidens are successful and cool. We get it, Gavin.
They're just coking it up. Well, I guess he didn't limit himself to cocaine. He was also doing meth, which is very low.
Are you sure? Are you sure?
I thought I heard, or no, crack, right?
I hear crack a lot.
Dude,
I don't know anything.
Crack, you're doing meth.
Those are all birds of a feather. And
I'm not sure about the crack even though. See, I'm not sure about the crack or the meth. Now, I think that like his opponents will call him a crackhead, just because it's worse than calling him a cokehead. It's like
he was on 60 Minutes talking about snorting, burning Parmesan cheese that he thought was pieces of crack. He's very vocal about his love of crack.
Dude, I tried to Google it. The first headline I found is cocaine residue was found on Biden's gun pouch. Why doesn't the right like him more?
Why does Biden wait? What do you mean his gun pouch?
His gun pouch, dude.
I took it to mean a holster. Let me read on and see if
anyone who calls a holster a gun pouch
is that
we're catching strays over here?
Man, I was about to show you my brand new gun pouch. And you just
keep your pistols in your gun pouches, boy. Like
yeah. But no, if it's going to come out that you're doing uppers in the White House and with prostitutes, it better be cocaine because that seems kind of cool. Meth and crack seems
all
very
right.
cool.
There you go. He's asleep with that's literally a picture of Hunter Biden with a crack pipe in his mouth.
What do you see? Oh,
I see Hunter Biden with a crack pipe in his mouth, passed out.
In the world.
Wow. He's sick and he's getting his temperature read, and that's where your head goes.
Are you a liberal? You're a liberal, Taylor.
He smoked more Parmesan cheese than anyone when he was addicted to. Weird. Okay.
Do you know how fucking coked up you need to be like half a container of Parmesan into smoking it before you're like, this isn't drugs. Fuck. Oh man, no wonder it smells so delicious in here.
I was talking to Anthony Cumia about his drug days recently, and he was like, "Yeah, crack is for blacks." But he used different.
Yeah, he loves that word.
He was like, "No, me and my brother would freebase," and I'm like, "I've heard like that's how Richard Pryor burst into flames and it killed John Belushi, but I don't really know what it is. Is it just heroin and coke together?" And he goes, "No, moron, you." It's a really involved process, but you like get ether and you put cocaine in it, and there's some sort of chemical process where it separates. I think what you're essentially doing is de-cutting the coke, and then you scrape the bottom, like where the ether is separated, whatever cut it with the pure coke, and then you get that out, and then you, I think, smoke that, and you're smoking pure cocaine. I'm sure there's a lot of cokeheads right now going, "No, you fucking idiot."
right.
They're passed out.
They're certainly not.
They don't make it to Steve from the show. They nod off.
Yeah, I have no idea what the mechanism by which freebasing works. I've never tried that.
Have you guys ever done uncut cocaine?
No, I've probably only done crappy cocaine.
I haven't.
Yeah, if it makes you think of a nail salon, you're not doing good cocaine. I
remember the post-nasal drip tasting terrible and being like, "Oh, this probably isn't." It's probably a lot of baby powder in there.
If your mouth goes numb, you're okay.
Or what is it? What do they cut it with? Laxative powder, isn't that it?
Yeah, baby laxative.
Yeah, so like if you have to shit after you do cocaine, it's because you just got.
You'd have to do so much cocaine to have to take a shit. Like you'd have to be just railing.
I have very little cocaine experience, so I don't know.
Do it on the toilet because I knew it was about to be a mega blast. But we would go to this bar called Blue, and we do shitty coke back in the early aughts. And you do a bump, and then you'd have to run to the bathroom and evacuate your bowels. And my buddy Dan, he got so used to it. It was Thursday nights at Blue that on his way there, his body would have this Pavlovian effect where it knew it was about to do coke. So he wouldn't do the coke. He'd go into the door and run to the bathroom and shit his guts out like Pavlov. Because the body was like, "Oh, this is the time when we have explosive diarrhea."
Interesting.
Yeah.
His body acclimated to the bad quality drugs.
His body knew what time it was. You know what he said once? God, I miss partying with that guy. He's in AA now. Everyone I've ever partied with is either dead or in NA or AA.
Quitter.
One time he walked into the bar. I actually bumped into the barmaid at Keen's Steakhouse last night in New York City, and she reminded me of this. One time he walked into the bar. It was freezing, snowy night. It seems like it was snowier in New York back then. We haven't had snow this year, but it's freezing cold. He whips open the door and he goes, "My God, it's colder than a dead slave's eyes out there." The whole bar was just like the record scratched.
Jesus Christ.
Oh my God, not even a saying. Like just
it's a great saying, but you'll never get a chance to use it because there's no environment where people will be like, "Good one, that was funny. Yeah, I get it. Dead slaves. Yeah, that's good."
Maybe we've become too weeded up as a culture and we need to get coked up again.
Absolutely. Well, every time I hear music that's like that 80s music, like "Go up and party on the Family Zone, dude," or disco or Sly and the Family Stone, I'm just like, everyone involved in this song was on cocaine. The engineers, the record producers, the manager, the bassist, like 100% of the people that put this song on the airwaves were fucked out of their mind on cocaine. Even the metal, like "Free Will Burning" by Judas Priest, and or like "Shout at the Devil," or even what was the one before that, "Too Fast for Love" or whatever, Motley Crue. You're just like, I'm listening to cocaine.
Yeah. All those stock market guys. The whole economy ran on cocaine in the 80s.
Would the economy be better if we switched from weed to cocaine? I think Taylor's plan would increase the GDP. If we were to get rid of weed and switch to cocaine,
I think a lot more stuff gets done.
Yeah, right?
People are too happy with themselves with music, so it made a lot of crap music, the 80s. But in finance, you want to be bullish. So yeah, it made a lot of guys take some big risks. And when Trump says "Make America Great Again," he means make America those 80s Coke days again, like with mullets and wraparound shades and jet skis.
If you asked him when America was best, he would probably go back to those days. It would probably be like the first half of Wall Street or something.
Yeah, he'd say 1983, and he would be correct.
I wasn't around for 83.
No,
never got to experience that.
What?
No. What was it like?
I was 10, and I'll tell you what it was like. At first, fluorescents were in style, so we all had our parachute pants and fluorescent clothing.
Yeah,
and then camouflage got into style. But those of us at the tip of the spear had hunter's camouflage. When they mixed fluorescent orange with camo, that's style.
Shit!
Welcome to 1983.
Damn.
You know, that's notable thing about the early 80s up to mid 80s was nerds got wedgies, and I
that's different now.
That made them invent stuff like computers. And now they're trans, and they have these butthole eyes that are all brown around. They have the scraggly Joey Ramone hair and like a cheap dress. And they're like, "Yeah, no one respects me as a woman, so I'm suing this restaurant." And you're just like, we got to fucking wedgie you guys again, man. This is not working out.
You think we've got way too little bullying, and we need to up the and you know what's going to up bullying is cocaine. You know, people are going to be all amped up and they'll be like, I'm not going to sit to myself like some pothead. I'm about to critique. I'm about
skip
to
ahead and go to PCP or something. If you want,
I think meth has a better track record than any other drug. If you look at World War II.
If you're in favor of bullying, what?
No, just success. Really, just a real winning spirit. Team efforts in general are fueled by meth.
They did lose.
The Blitzkrieg was fueled on methamphetamine.
Yeah, but everyone beats French in war.
All of our pilots have that meth pill in their like crash gear. You know, get them going.
It's big in the South. I was in the South recently, and I was fucking exhausted and drunk at like 1:30 a.m. Like, I gotta fucking pack it in. I wonder how everyone else in this bar is doing. And I look around, and it's just
bug-eyed alert.
Every single person in the bar, teachers, middle-aged people, young people, old people, they all had golf balls for eyes. And I realized, holy fuck, this whole town's on meth. It's like
there's
down there.
the poor parts of the South, particularly like the mountains of Tennessee and North Georgia, where bootlegging back in Prohibition times was a thing, and even later on, inexplicably, they do meth now because they have those places that they used to hide stills. Now they hide meth labs, and they're way up in some shitty mountain that nobody goes in a town with 500 people in it, and so they have like task forces and squads that have to. Oh, dude, helicopter shit and aircraft shit. It's crazy.
Here in Missouri, meth is like a sport. Like we have the greatest meth heads as far as the not great in their scale. They're very unpleasant. They're violent.
It's definitely true is that Hunter Biden left his laptop at a laptop repair store, and it has been recovered by someone.
And there are incriminating emails on it. The biggest one in my mind is that in this deal, I think with China, they were saving 10% for the big guy. And most people infer that to be Joe Biden himself in on this backroom deal. And
it's not good. It's backroom deals with China, Ukraine, and Russia.
Yeah, I didn't know about the Russia one, although I'm not saying you're wrong.
It's $30 million from Russia.
Wait, they called this whole thing a conspiracy a while ago.
No, hang on. Not only did they call it a conspiracy, Facebook labeled it as a conspiracy and like deleted posts and removed accounts who tried to mention it.
Yeah, I know people got banned for bringing it up.
They went Orwellian on something that has turned out to be factual.
That is a problem with fact checking in general. Like Joe Rogan brought this one to my attention, because we talk. And he was like, there was a period where if you said cloth masks are bullshit and don't work, then you were labeled as some sort of traitor, anti-American, anti-science, etc. And then a little time passes and they're like, right, cloth masks are pretty ineffective. Maybe your breath doesn't go quite as far, but for the most part, they're bullshit. You want a more effective mask. And but there was a time when if you were like cloth masks were just theater, then you would get like fact checked on Facebook and banned on Twitter and such.
You have to join the mob or be ridiculed by it or be exterminated by it at every turn. And sometimes it's like, yeah, join us, dummy. We're in the mob that drinks clean water. You've been drinking river water all week. That's why you're vomiting and your wife died of cholera yesterday. We're in the clean water mob. So get on board or die like your wife. But then there's like look, fucking vote or die, motherfucker, vote or die. And then it's just like, first of all, you already told me I can't anymore. And second of all, I don't think it matters.
Yeah.
So with the cloth mask thing, maybe I'm foolish. I believe they made an honest mistake. With the Hunter Biden thing, it doesn't feel like an honest mistake. It feels like a little bit of protectionism for someone who was a powerful man. And I don't know.
Like Biden's at this point, if there's a betting line right now, it's much more likely that Biden is in legal issues than Trump is in legal issues. The person who is
people that high up don't deal with legal issues.
The person at most professional and political risk right now from legal issues is Joe Biden, not Donald Trump.
Like more like on the laptop thing. Okay. Way more troubling than like whatever's on the laptop. I haven't looked into it. Is like knowing fully that big tech companies censor shit unilaterally for political motivations. Like that's scary. Twitter did the same thing Facebook did, where they would shut you down if you said about it. I didn't follow it at the time, but I know that like they were censoring it and whatnot. Like, and think about it. That's the way, especially at the time, that everyone was communicating with one another. That was the main kind of ability to communicate. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, the election. And it's like, and for those companies to be able to, for any reason, just shut down discussion of a topic is really fucking scary.
It's the same way in some ways with COVID. And look, again, like going back to what I said about the drinking clean water mob, like sometimes it's a good thing that you can just shut people up about their disinformation that involves drinking bleach, for example. Like, and that's not like a made up like ivermectin silly example. Like don't you don't have to stretch it to ivermectin. I remember when they were drinking bleach.
I do not want Twitter and Facebook deciding what is public discourse in the country. That's not good.
I'm with Kyle. It is
bleach though
hard to get it right. Ivermectin's a good one, I think, because the right absolutely believed that this was a thing that cured COVID. It isn't. So I follow the news on this a lot. It seems that report after report after report comes out and says ivermectin doesn't fix it. Like there was one poor study that said it was good in an effort to make COVID seem like a smaller deal than it was. The right latched on to this conspiracy that there is a cheap, readily available, widely known drug that cures it, and they're just trying to hide it from you so that you don't get a cure to COVID because reasons. And it was bullshit. And it's been proven bullshit time and time and time again. And I do think that having a fact check on misinformation could be good.
So what is that? Because of this information, people were thinking there was a viable option aside from vaccination, and there were people who were dying and or seriously injuring themselves. Like apparently an overdose of horse ivermectin causes things like sterility. Shockingly, like it literally makes men sterile when they take too much of it.
Well, that's just Darwinism at that point.
Which to me was like, slow down with the warnings, boys. Like
right.
Is that and where can I get some ivermectin?
All right.
Right. Yeah.
You're giving too much power to these tech companies that they can unilaterally decide what is and isn't discourse, and it's not going to end where you like it.
It's not going to end where we like it.
No.
But it's also it's not. But again,
a related thing to what Taylor's saying. I'm sorry, did I cut you off, Kyle?
A little.
Do you want to go?
I just look. It's a private thing. Twitter's not fucking public organization. If you know, I
this is the way we communicate. Like in the modern world, they should be.
That's our fail
where people can say stuff and you can talk about anything. It's how discourse is done.
I'm sure there are, and they're just not very popular. And I don't think that. I mean, are you suggesting that there should be some government overreach? Do you want some politicians to go in?
Yeah, absolutely. These companies should be like a public utility. They control our ability to communicate with one another. They should be forced.
Where do we draw the line?
I'm a free speech absolutist. I think that people should be able to say what they want on these platforms, whether or not I agree with it. Because the only other alternative.
If you're telling a company what it can do and can't do, then that in itself is not.
We told those bakeries they had to make gay cakes. Like, what? Why can't we do this?
We actually did the exact opposite. We told the bakeries that they could serve who they wanted to.
They won the other way. Well, regardless,
the bakers
The bakers won, and then that has been
society lost.
And that has actually been like a counter argument to this sort of thing.
Then I apologize for being wrong on that.
Well, I do it every day.
Yeah, it is my whole thing is it is really fucking scary to allow these multi-billion-dollar companies who control our ability to speak to one another, to other citizens of our country, letting them decide what is and isn't discourse is not a good long-term plan.
A litmus test, I want to jump in. This is what I was going to say, that I apply to myself a lot is like, I don't care who your favorite president is, right? Let's say Biden is your guy. And they're like, okay, they've just given the president the ability to declare martial law, and now no one's allowed to quit their job and no one's out allowed at night. And you say, well, all right. But with Biden, I trust that he will use that responsibly. I think it's cool. No. You need to pretend your least favorite president is president. Whoever that is. Maybe it's DeSantis. Maybe it's Matt Gaetz or Madison Cawthorn, the wheelchair dude. Right? Pretend he's president. See if you still like that law. And apply that test to it before you do your thing. Line item veto is a better real life example, right? Problem is the Senate, the House, they put all these stupid little riders in the law, and they say, all right, we're going to lower taxes for disabled moms, and we're also going to put in this big fat bridge. And the president can be like, all right, we're passing it, but not the bridge part. That's just pork. Okay, you might like that idea when your favorite president is power, but you're going to hate it when the next guy is. Maybe the president can't pick and choose how these laws go through.
Precisely.
Okay. Now with tech, I'm like, absolutely we should censor ivermectin talk. People are dying because of it. It's a public hazard. Oh yeah, Woody? Well, do you like it when they censor something you do believe in? No, not anymore. So it's a tough thing for me.
It's not a road.
I mean, they kind of already do.
They already decide what you can and can't talk about. It's just I don't think that's a good thing.
Woody, what's a woman?
There's no telling. I've met them, but I can't define them.
Oh, man.
A woman is me winning college championships in swimming. That's what it is.
See, you've met them and you can't define them. I've met them and I won't define them.
Who's to say? Not someone who wants a Twitch account.
Yeah. When you
Dude,
talk
the
about
best is
censorship,
when the women were boggled. I loved seeing the women go like,
yeah. What we talk about, like it closer to this show's been demonetized the last 6 shows in a row. That's a lot.
That is.
Huh.
Like and if you, it's like a UFC fighter's record. Well, what if you go back before that? Well, it's like 9 out of the last 11. Like it's not like it just started. Like we get demonetized all the time.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, that is silly.
We don't
That's
say
ridiculous.
anything edgy or.
I wonder if it's the
Just
lock and
being
load
goobers.
ad that we're, because it's usually language.
Oh,
Really?
Is it-
Yeah,
We don't say anything that bad.
I wish we knew which words. Like if like there's like one word that's like doing it, like cunt. Like
Yeah.
one cunt, like drop,
Thanks.
like I saw.
Are you sure it's not cock sucking? But
I don't know how the algorithm works, but I think maybe it has like voice recognition and it like a sign. Like
it does close caption. So
I
in my
saw a
head,
police video today, and he was like, "I hear those finance guys like get crazy CPM." So it's just like ATM, fucking Wall Street, Wall Street, Wall Street, Wall Street, Wall Street, NFT, crypto, cryptocurrency, crypto, Bitcoin, Ethereum. I don't know, ATM. Let it rain, boys. Let's go. Also, my Patreon down below. And I was like, hell, I'm gonna sit through all this. Let's keep going.
Yeah. To me, it's the makeup girls, mascara, blush, something else.
Yeah, Revlon, eyeshadow, smoky eye, spring fashion. How do we? If we there's probably a whole list of words we could do. We could do like 30-minute segments where we just say like keyword.
Well, I think we should give Hunter Biden shit for not doing drugs anymore, assuming he doesn't.
No, he's still
Still
powerful.
doing drugs.
He's still going strong with the drugs.
If somebody replaces says they're an artist and replaces their paintbrush with straws, you gotta think, all right, this is so. If they find straws around his house and go, "Are you doing drugs?" Like, no, I'm painting. I'm a fucking artist, dude.
Is that what he said?
No. How much were those?
No, but
paintings?
I assume that's what he does. He paints with his. Yeah, it's like,
straw.
I also use a hypodermic needle and squish the paint on the fucking,
Art or something like that. Like,
Yeah,
to be honest,
yeah.
these paintings don't
Painting
look terrible to me. But I also, it's one of those paintings where I feel like I could do it too with no training. Like I don't know. I bet if we did a class of kindergartners, at least a couple would come up with equivalent to Hunter Biden's level.
He's not very good.
No, it's very.
I'll go
what
so
you're-
far as to say he's bad at painting.
The word you're hunting for
He's bad.
is he is the coolest presidential son in a generation. He is the Charlie Sheen of presidential descendants.
But do you think he was doing as much cocaine
George
as George W. was when his dad was president?
George W. Bush is the Charlie Sheen of
Get
president.
back to me when George W. Bush has pictures is like doing crack off a hooker's ass.
Yeah, I mean this was 100 years ago. He was that cocaine. So, but he owned a baseball team, right? A minor league baseball team, just being gacked up all day.
Professional baseball.
The
team.
It was
Rangers,
like
right?
Texas, the Rangers.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh, the Rangers. My mistake.
He owned a
Yeah.
real one. Damn.
Yeah.
Oh, is this Hunter Biden art?
Looks like a petri dish.
Like, it's just what I said. It's not awful, but I feel like I could.
That's
do
coronavirus.
It's not good.
Yeah.
The
it
top
does.
right, maybe. Yeah.
You know what this is like he knew like agents were coming and he's like, I need to fucking paint something. Like just frantically trying to get some paint on the canvas.
Yeah.
No,
that
this is
a
my
grift.
style.
This.
Yeah.
Do you
this
think we'll
is-
see one of those framed behind the Oval Office, like just up on the wall? somewhere?
God.
Wait,
that
is
would
that
be
true?
hilarious.
Are there some in the No, not in the Oval Office.
That'd be like the president putting it onto the refrigerator. That's his version of like,
Yeah,
magnet.
I think you did a great job.
He's
son.
gonna put it right there between those two flags behind it.
That's my boy.
Why did
Yeah.
my retarded son have to be the one that kept living?
I mean, if you saw some
Wow.
like
Oh.
some Renaissance era Zoptic woman painting, I'd be like, holy fuck, that's an artist. He's really good. But like you said, anybody I think can take a straw and some paint.
Yeah.
That's like, oh wow, it looks like a flat version of a colored Easter egg. Like when you really take your time and try to make it really colorful.
It's bad. It's just not good.
You do a face. Tries, I could do that.
If you're a really good painter, even if that's your style, there should be a test where it's like, all right, I know that you're a bubble blower generally or whatever your style. Do my face.
A bubble blower.
Just like do a face, and then if they can't do a face,
is bubblicious.
Hand him an old matchbook and have him draw Tippy the turtle or something. That little art test they would have on a matchbook years ago. Draw a deer, and it's like, oh, send it in and we'll tell you if you're good enough. And of course you'd be good enough because they want you to buy their art course. So no matter what you drew, they would send you back something that said you were awesome. And I think that's where he kind of he's at in the art business.
I didn't know that they did that with matchbooks. That's
an old trick. They did that
many years ago.
Housewives have been falling for that one for a long time.
Yeah. I could draw that. It's like, you traced it, you liar.
Yeah, like you'd fool the people there.
Yeah. It's like,
get another perfect one.
Got another tracer. All right.
I think Hunter Biden definitely probably the king of doing drugs as a presidential child.
Yeah.
We can't know before pictures were around. I imagine George W. was being insane. Like those are the stories, right?
Yeah, he just did it before everyone had a camera phone in their pocket.
Had cameras right there, video and everything else. Even his daughters were at the beginning of that whole thing with iPhones and smartphones and whatnot, and they got caught up a couple of times doing shit that seemed a little shady. So yeah, I'm sure W was just a fucking maniac.
Mm-hmm. I mean, the first presidential kids that it came out, they were doing drugs. And nobody cared was the Obama kids, where I think his oldest daughter was like, she took a puff of a joint at a concert.
Yeah.
A couple journalists tried to be like, is this the kind of influence we want? And I feel like the public at large was like, go fuck yourself. Who cares? Who absolutely cares if the if Malia or Sasha, whichever
also,
one
they
was,
were minors. I don't know. I try to give a little distance to minors when they're, if the presidential kid is 40, then that's different. Mm-hmm. But if they're 17, dude, hands off. No one gave Barron that hard a time that I can recall. And I think that's appropriate.
I think one person did. One person gave him shit, and it was like, oh boy, and they caught holy hell, and everyone left them alone. It's like Amy Carter. Jimmy Carter's daughter was just the goofiest looking little kid, and they put her in there, and everyone was like, could you please just leave this poor kid alone?
What's the Clinton kid name?
What was her? Chelsea.
Oh yeah, Chelsea. Yeah, Chelsea
she was not gifted with good looks,
frizzy hair and the teeth and everything. And that was another one. People were pretty hands off with her.
I remember it differently. I thought that
Rush Limbaugh fucked with her a lot and said some shit.
They gave her a hard time for being ugly a lot, and she wasn't 15 yet.
That's mean.
SNL did a bit about Amy Carter back when she was the first daughter, and I think Lorraine Newman played her. And it was about how she was going to school and the Secret Service were just beating the living shit out of anyone that looked at her sideways or anything. And it was pretty funny, but they kind of made her up to look pretty goofy. Lorraine Newman, yeah.
I don't like that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It beats shooting people on movie sets.
Barron Trump kind of snuck under the goal line there because he was too young to be doing anything other than Legos and Kinects throughout the whole thing, wasn't he?
No,
what was he, 13 by the end of it?
I don't know. He looked 21.
I mean, that
was 7 feet tall by the end of the presidency. Jesus Christ.
I'm gonna
he did grow up pretty quick.
Barron Trump height, #1 search.
No, he's fucking huge. He's fucking huge.
Well, he's 15 now. He's younger than I thought.
So he was only 10 when Trump got in.
Yeah,
he's probably 14 when he finished. So a little young to cause any real dumb stuff.
He's apparently as of July 8th, 2021. This 15-year-old is 6'7".
Wait,
are you joking?
That's what it says. Newest Trump Tower. Barron shows off his 6'7" height in New York City.
I wonder if he's really that tall.
I mean, have you Trump is a short guy. Trump's also
0.5%. Trump lies about his height.
I'm saying Trump's not a short guy, but he's not 6'3", but he towers over his dad.
Yeah.
He's got that Melania 6'2" tall Slovakian genes in there.
Yeah,
like look at that normal man next to his mom.
Oh my god. Oh my god, Baron. Yeah, he is huge, and oh boy,
and he's got the face.
I know what you're thinking. I'm thinking it too.
He's going through let's just say he's going through an awkward phase.
He is.
But
his face is still in that awkward phase enough that you can see this growth is not done.
Yeah,
no.
I mean, I'm 6'7". If his dad's 6'2", it's not a bad guess.
He's going to be one of those guys that's like, well, I started growing when I was 4 years old. It just didn't stop. They finally found my pituitary gland had a problem with it. Like, oh, that guy.
People thought it would be cool being this tall, but people were afraid of me.
I was on this swim team, and I swam with a 12-year-old who was like 6'4". And he had to bring his birth certificate to meets because people didn't they didn't believe he should be swimming against other 12-year-olds.
Have you guys seen how enormous Baron is? He's like 6'9", dude. He is
change that
enormous.
Man king.
Yeah, we should let's get out of this whole voting thing. Let's make Baron king. His name is already Baron. Can you imagine a better regal name than Baron, other than like Duke?
No, we have their kids fight as their champions. So Hunter Biden versus Baron or something like that. Or maybe
Baron, I think
that's not looking good for Hunter Biden. Like
really,
dude, Hunter Biden's like 6 months. Isn't he like 50 years old and he's smoking crack?
Underestimating the age problem.
In my head, Baron's a little skinny, but I'm just saying, if you give him 6 months and a training regimen and a fucking like a dietitian, he could get
6 months. That's 3 more inches of height for Baron. This kid's huge.
Yeah. How old is Baron? That's my thing. He's still 14 in my mind.
No, he's like 18 now. I think isn't he?
Yeah,
18's still a little young. If he was 22, he'd be getting into his man strength.
Dude, he is enormous, man.
Is that Hunter? Baron aged poorly.
Yeah, Baron looks like he's in his 50s in this pic.
Baron looks like he's had some fun with amphetamines and what.
Yeah, I think Baron's a drug addict.
And then Baron's a drug addict? Is that what you said?
We're joking because it's supposed to be a Baron picture and he looks like
that. Okay. Do you remember that old? This is making me remember that picture of Baron walking next to his dad, and that meme where they kept photoshopping Trump's arms longer. Like longer and longer and longer. It was like Trump's arms have continued to get longer ever since he touched the Saudi orb.
Dude. And Trump is 6'3", bro. He's not like he's a tall guy.
He's not actually 6'3".
This is an old picture. Baron is like 6'8" or something now. Like he's colossal.
Yeah. And that's like that's the face of a kid who's like not done with like he doesn't have a beard yet and he's 6'8".
Don't you stay growing until you're like 26? Doesn't it continue until you're
he's on like the Robert Wadlow path of height where like you have to start using a cane at 19.
Yeah.
Your body's just so big. Yeah, well good for Baron Trump. Good for him being tall.
Yeah.
He's 17 right now. So I'm going to go with Hunter, even though obviously that tide is about to turn. I just don't see 17-year-olds beating grown men very often.
Yeah.
He speaks like
not
5
grown men like
languages
Hunter.
too.
17 is like you're like strong by 17.
So we have very different opinions of 17. I'm like 17. That's like when you first orgasm, right?
No, that's when you start dunking. Like that's what he's doing at 17. Yeah, no, he'd be able to put his hand on Hunter's face and keep him away like a cartoon.
Hunter would fuck him up. Hunter is the kind of man who hires whores and does crap.
He seems scrappy. Yeah,
he's on the mean streets. Okay, you don't think he's ever had to slap a bitch?
Dude,
Biden has done
half the bitches in
he's
Scranton
exhausted.
know not to fuck with Hunter.
As Hunter, as Joe Biden's emissary for the crime family, he's got to be the enforcer. Like he's got to have some kind of hand-to-hand combat deal with those like Ukrainian oligarchs.
You're making a lot of sense.
One would think.
If I was going to hang out, I would love to hang out with Hunter Biden. I bet it's fucking awesome. I think
he's sober now, so it might be a little boring for you.
Someone left the cocaine in the White House.
There's Oh yeah, I wonder who that was. Was it the guy like wiping his nose?
Here's the thing:
he wasn't even in the White House.
Yeah,
he wasn't even
in. Yeah, so it was left in a place that I guess had a lot of traffic. So it wasn't there for like 6 days, and he hadn't been there for a while, 3-4 days or something. So it wasn't literally Hunter, but you tell me it's not from his circle. It's from his circle.
We know for sure it wasn't literally Hunter.
Yeah, because we know where he was.
You think like Hunter Biden orbiters are just hanging out in the White House? Just kind of
I bet Hunter's crazy. Secret Service guy has a vial of cocaine in his pocket. Is what I think.
Maybe.
Probably. I bet Secret Service guys like hook you up, like because they're not worried about drugs and stuff. They're worried about making sure you don't get assassinated.
First of all, Secret Service are fucking cool as shit. All right, that's the coolest name ever. They didn't even start as some presidential protection service. They were all about counterfeit money or whatever. Now they ride around. Every time you hear about it in a foreign country, they're getting whores, drugs. Hunter Biden's a Secret Service guy definitely holds his drugs if he has one around him. And then that guy, he's probably his drug dealer. Those guys are awesome.
And now Joe Biden, I think Joe Biden's brother, they found a fucking profile of his like a naked picture profile on a gay like dating website or platform or whatever.
I don't believe that. When I hear that, I think propaganda.
The picture, you can see it. It's well, anyway.
But that doesn't mean he made the profile
gay.
Yeah.
Well, somehow it ended up on that. It ended up on that site, but yeah,
you know how it ends up on that
picture
site.
could easily be somebody's dating profile, and that doesn't mean you did it. You're just in the public.
That happens a lot.
Well,
why would people care? Is he like a family man who's like, I'm like going out getting the Christmas tree and then really blowing some guy at a truck stop, or is he just a gay guy?
I think it's just a gay guy, but it was
who cares? Of course, a gay guy has a gay dating app.
Yeah, there you go. Naked selfie right there, guys. Guys with iPhones. I don't know what the new.
Let's see it. Is he fit?
He's pretty fit.
Yes.
Yeah, he's definitely pretty fit. Yeah,
dude. For his age group, this guy's a 1%er.
Yeah.
Oh man, he stole all of Joe's virility.
You call that a high value male? But the thing, don't knock Joe, okay? Because he was fucking like 78 years old, and he fell off of a bike and got back on. Like, he didn't have to go to the emergency room after falling off of a bike. I'm just saying, when I fall off of a bike, if I ever turn 78, I'm like, half of my body is going to shatter when that happens. So I think people are interpreting that bike fall all wrong, in my opinion.
That was pretty embarrassing.
That is a funny way to look at a bike fall.
He looked like an old.
Look at him! He got up.
It was because it was so.
And it was
slow.
like 3 months after a different fall.
Yeah,
it was the the pedal clips. I don't. Have you guys ever used the clips with pedals?
You've described them. You're like
a long time ago. Yeah, where you lock your feet in?
It is so easy to do what Joe did, and it happens to everyone who uses them.
Yeah, it's so charitable.
No, it literally like. I think this is exposing the fact that you haven't used the toe clip pedals. Like, if you had, you'd be like, yeah, you'd fucking fall to the side sometimes.
I have a question. Why is he wearing toe clip pedal special shoes and a bike?
Because he's a physically active 80-year-old man.
I doubt
Is he on his bike this weekend?
You don't. He regularly exercise. I don't know why you guys are pretending like he's not in shape for a fucking.
Look, we've been with you every liberal step of the way tonight. Give us this one. That's a frail old man.
Senile old man who falls off bikes and like stumbles and
he still goes on runs. He still goes on runs every day. Who do you think is
even corrected you when you?
Who do you think is in better shape? Who do you think is in better shape? Donald Trump or Joe Biden? Who do you think is in better
physically?
Both.
Oh, mentally Trump, physically probably Biden.
I think an obstacle course is how you determine physical fitness. That's how they do it in the Army.
Find any random transcript of Donald Trump talking or doing an interview and then read it back to me and then tell me his mind is like sharp as a tack.
I have a response to this.
Okay,
I kind of agree. Joe Biden presents as more senile than he really is, and Trump presents as less senile. So hear this out. When I listen to Joe Biden speak, here we go. When I listen to Joe Biden speak, I want to turn the volume up. He has this mumble. I can barely get what he's saying. My own hearing is deteriorating. You need to turn him up. When I hear Trump speak, I need to invent some sort of nonsense canceling headphones. But at least it's loud, it's audible, and it sounds like he fucking said a thing, even if he didn't answer the question, got a little confused, and said he beat Obama in a presidential election. Trump needs nonsense canceling headphones, but he doesn't sound senile.
He speaks very confidently, and
Trump speaks very confidently, and he's a good entertainer. He speaks clearly, like you get what he's saying, even if you don't agree with it. Biden is like
you lost me at the end there.
You understand what he's trying to say generally. Biden is like mumbling. He forgets what he's saying all the time. Okay, he's always looking around with a senile downer, whatever they call it, sundowning eyes. Like he needs people to lead him out of there. Like,
how many times have you actually listened? Okay, so for example, 60 Minutes, they did an interview with Biden. It's like a 15-minute segment. Like, how many times do you actually watch when Biden gives like prolonged interviews? That's my question.
And I give him. I think I'm fair to him. I grade most of his public speaking. He's actually doing an Oval Office address tonight. It's only his second one.
Yeah, so he's doing
I'm looking forward to watching it.
Literally right now.
Yeah, don't spoil it. No spoilers, please. If we go to war with Iran, I want to know later, not tonight. I want to find out about that. So sometimes I see him and he's pretty good. He's pretty good. He does this thing where he's like, literally, people. No, I mean it. I mean that.
Yeah.
I mean that. He's like trying to let you. Maybe he's speaking to Gen Z who doesn't even take the word literally. But he has this thing over and over. He's like, I mean it. That's a real thing, not just.
And he says stuff sometimes that's like, we're gonna lick the world. Like he obviously he has never been a strong public speaker. But when you sit him down and he's like, if you watch, for example, his debate with Bernie, it was a one-on-one debate with Bernie. He actually did really well in that debate. He did not do well when it was like 8 candidates on the stage and he's like overstimulated or whatever, and then he's like tripping over his speech. But if you listen to the answers that he's giving in like the 60 Minutes interview or whatever, he can give you like comprehensive answers about really complex geopolitical realities, like really complicated issues, and he can get into the minutia about these things. I do not think, I've never seen Trump engage with the issues in the same way ever. And
the thing about Biden, I think a lot of people who have this opinion that he's very senile are getting their information through like compilations on Twitter.
Yeah.
And they just choose his lowest lows. They make a sequence of them and you get a false impression of what he's really like. These are the people who don't watch like a 15-minute, 60-minute section and get a more accurate representation of where Biden is.
It's trial by vibes. Like a lot of people in the country, they judge like the political landscape off of just kind of like personal vibes. And
did you see him this week?
Yeah, pretty much everyone.
Did you see him in Israel?
Yeah, I did.
It was bad. I mean, he looked very sleepy. The jet lag was definitely affecting him tremendously. He was all stooped over, sitting in that chair with Netanyahu and his cue cards and everything. This and that, and Israel, and restrained response. And I'm literally people. Yeah, he didn't look good. And
that's pretty.
That's what I get from. That's CNN's take. I don't know.
And
how
these aren't like necessarily.
I have to go to find people who think he's like a strong public speaker or not too old to speak well. I don't think he's going to run, or if he does, I think he's going to die. Like
you
running.
Don't think Biden will run?
He's just too old, and he's with it.
He's running. I think. Listen, look, he's clearly like
cutoff.
He's clearly like an older guy, but I think you guys are way overselling his like aloofness, because aside from his speech impediment and aside from his like not being as energetic as he was like 10 or 20 years ago, he's a fucking 80-year-old man, of course. He can give you like really coherent, long, lengthy, comprehensive answers to complex questions. And I think that's his age personally, it doesn't like, as long as he's doing things that I agree with, then I don't give a fuck. And it's the same thing with like Trump supporters. Like they might not like Trump personally, but if he's doing policies that they like, then it doesn't fucking matter that he says crazy shit or whatever and is embroiled in this scandal or that scandal.
He might kill him. I think if he does like a full press campaign, if it's neck and neck and Trump's ahead and he's having to make all those stops, like, yes, Mr. Biden, it's ABC at 6, NBC at 6:30, at 8 p.m. we're going to be on the road in Wisconsin. At 9 o'clock, you're going to be on your plane. We're landing at 10. If it's days like that for weeks at a time, I think that'll literally kill that old man. And that has nothing to do with like his mental faculties. I think that is very stressful and ages.
I look forward to seeing what you're talking about, Kyle, because during Biden's presidency, he hasn't been that accessible. I think I like a lot of the policies. I feel like he's doing the right thing, and I'm mostly thinking about Ukraine and now perhaps Israel. I'm a little
his foreign policy. I'm on board with. Obviously, economically, if we drew one of those fucking boards, Taylor, we'll get to your fucking isolationist. Let's all hide out here behind.
Getting health care before we fund more wars?
You hated healthcare for
They're not mutually exclusive. If we stop giving funding to Ukraine tomorrow, it's not like we could summon the political will to get like medicine for all or whatever.
Healthcare. If they can afford it, they've got too much.
People talk about it in terms of like, okay, why are we giving this like $30 billion to Ukraine when we could be doing the homeless vet stuff or whatever? But it's like, if we didn't give any of that money, you would still have a debate in Congress about how that money should be spent. And it's not like that. It's not we would automatically get healthcare if we didn't give.
No, it wouldn't automatically give aid, but you could get other things for it.
Oh, we were like, let's do this. Look, I hope Bernie runs. That's what I want. I want Biden to. Here's my dream. If I were the crafter of the universe, if I were the writer of history, if I was like that godlike entity in Marvel, I would make it so. Biden would die. Kamala would die. like late in the running, and the
How
Democrats
would they die?
They would die public. I shouldn't go into that. I mean, I don't
so like violently.
No spoilers.
No spoilers for Kyle's screenplay here.
At FBI on Twitter.
It would go in a rough way where like the American public would be like, "Oh no."
Okay.
Wait, they would die in a bad way. Public's like, "Oh no, gotta rally behind the Democrats."
So now who's the president? McHenry or something?
Bernie. No, he didn't win. It's
Bernie's even running.
Bernie steps in, old Bernie, and he comes. His running. How old is AOC? There's no succession. He steps in as the Democratic nominee.
I am seizing power now that it is my time.
When the president and the vice president die, there is succession.
Yeah,
Bernie did worse in 2020 than he did in 2016. His ship has sailed.
Okay, wait a minute.
He lost a lot of his spice when he was like, right. I will never ever become an establishment Democrat.
Oh man, that's the worst case scenario.
I actually am now an establishment Democrat, and then gave all his money to
So Woody, what you're saying, and you're correcting me, is that if it's election night and we're casting votes for, and Biden wins, but he dies in his sleep, and Kamala dies driving to get sworn in, then who becomes the president?
I don't know. We don't have it. Yeah, but
if it's election night, there's a Speaker of the House at that time, and right now it's.
But we don't have a Speaker of the House.
That's what I mean. Yeah,
we have a temporary pro temp one. So I actually know a little about this.
It's also to keep your Sutherland.
After 9/11, the Speaker of the House, they decided that he needed to assign like a pro temp or something like that. And there's actually another one, and they're secrets. We don't know who they are. But because McCarthy? Why can't I remember his name? McCarthy. Is it McCarthy, just like the old guy?
The old speaker,
anyway, yeah. All right. So anyway, because McCarthy got voted out, McHenry is the temporary speaker, and he is currently third in line for the presidency.
It's him? It would go to him?
Yeah. And this is a 9/11 thing where they're like, holy shit, if we get really wrecked, like maybe those planes hit the Capitol building or something and we lose a ton of guys, we need to have a line of succession figured out.
They should redo the election if it happens that.
Yeah, like that would be so crazy to have two unelected like people in there. And I guess he would choose a VP. There wouldn't be a line of succession for VP. They would make the speaker the president out of nowhere just because he's on the blue team or red team. And then he would pick a guy or girl to be the VP. In that instance, you could end up with some wacky representation.
And you could get anyone, because if the speaker didn't want to be president,
anyone could be the speaker of the House.
I'm gonna make the My Pillow guy my vice president, and now I resign. And then you got
here's a question of let's say that we're the Republicans and we find out that Donald Trump passed away in his sleep, but we know he won. Can we rally real quick, figure out who we want to be the next president, and make him the Speaker of the House?
You'd have to weekend at Bernie's him through the
we'd weekend at Bernie him through the next day. So he's got
sunglasses on
because we got to. I don't know what time they vote, but we got to get everybody together.
I actually wonder hypothetically, let's say either Trump or Biden, it doesn't
weekend
matter.
At Bernie.
They died a day or two before the election happens. Are we just voting for the VP and that guy wins and becomes president? I don't know how it works.
And it's about Bernie Sanders' bid for presidency, and he dies the night before, and they have to prop him up so they can vote it because they've got a wild card as the Speaker of the House. So we can't let that guy be. That'd be a great movie.
But at that point, votes would have already started to come in because early voting is a thing in other states or in some states.
Just redo the whole election. Just say, all right, all these votes, we're going in the.
We shouldn't pick anyway, Taylor.
The next nominee is going to be like Whitmer or something like that. It's going to be like the median Democratic voter is center left. So they're not progressives have a little way to go before we're gonna get like an AOC type candidate. Like I think that'll happen in my lifetime, but the next one's gonna be like Whitmer or Newsom or something like that.
I've been sending. Oh,
that was my guess. My guess was Newsom is the next big guy for the Democrats because he's attractive and that's big.
I don't know how much national appeal he has because there's a lot dude, hella people hate California. So like, I don't know if he could make that case on a national stage, but he's a really good speaker. There's that, but I don't know. I feel like Whitmer has a stronger case than he does. Because if you can be popular in that region, then you can have broad popularity all over the country.
DeSantis is not going anywhere. It seems like I really need to see a debate, but I don't know if Trump's going to allow very many debates. It seems like he can control everything. He's almost like the incumbent.
DeSantis sucks.
I was wrong the last time we bet. So with that in mind, I have equaled my false confidence from the last election cycle, and I think Trump is going to get whooped up on. Now, definitely in the general, I'm totally confident. In the primary, I can't explain why. I just think that his baggage is going to weigh him down.
I don't know, man. I don't think so.
It hasn't so far.
I think it's like I think it's going to fuel him, if anything, and fuel his campaign. I think he's gonna like not clean sweep, but like.
Did you see his interview with Brett Baer? Did you guys follow that at all?
Not at all.
All right, it was super duper bad. One, he admitted to all the felonies he's being accused of by Jack Smith. Like he just flat out said, like, listen, I needed more time to go through the boxes, so we told the DOJ that I returned them and that I didn't have them anymore, and like he just
Brett, I've talked to a lot of people, and it's only the homosexuals who even care. Why do you ask?
He admitted to all his felonies that he's being charged with now. Not a good look. But the bigger picture is he reminded me how Biden beat him. When Biden won that, all he did is stay in his basement, make Zoom calls with donors, and let Trump do the talking. And everyone voted against Trump. Well, not everyone, of course. You got a lot of votes too. Yeah. But now let Trump go on. Even Fox News. He can't handle a fucking Fox News interview at this point.
Well, Fox News interviews aren't what they once were. Everything's getting shifted around. It's really interesting to see what's going on with the mainstream media. Trump's about to do a town hall on MSNBC.
Mm-hmm.
The guy at CNN who had the Trump's last town hall, not the last one because Fox News has done one since, but the CNN town hall guy got fired. They got rid of him.
Really?
Yeah.
And I don't know what that means for CNN's direction. The CNN was trying to make a direction. They were like the news of the left, right? Like I would argue before Trump, they weren't as biased as people said they were. But then during Trump, they earned every bit of criticism that people leveled at them. They became I forget that guy's name who would go to the White House press conferences and it started with an A, I think, and always snipe at him and shit.
Jim Acosta. Yeah, it was just
Acosta. Yeah. Thank you.
Agency.
You're a disgrace.
So they're trying to move away and fix their reputation. And part of it was the town hall. But the town hall was kind of bad news. Stocking it with Trump-friendly people, I thought was a step too far. And that guy got fired. So is CNN going to abandon its move to the middle and go back to where they came from on the left? Or are they going to continue to do that? Maybe better this time? We'll see.
Yeah, I don't know. I saw the Hunter Biden thing came to some weird sort of ending where he pled to like possession of a firearm by a drug user, which is an interesting charge. And what was the other?
I just
stuff?
do
There's
not
some
care
tax
about
evasion.
Hunter Biden.
It's
his DMs were funny that leaked. The messages were funny.
He's such a wild man. He doesn't give a fuck.
He's
Dude's
Charlie.
running around. Banging.
He is Charlie.
He's
wild card.
Is a 100 millionaire son of the president who travels the world fucking whores, doing wild drugs, crack cocaine, and methamphetamine.
Loves crack.
He loves it, and
he makes no bones about it. It is his favorite thing to do.
Again, I feel so square.
John McAfee would have a lot of respect for Hunter Biden.
like Hunter Biden knows how to have fun. I bet Hunter Biden is a blast to hang out with. I bet he knows all the good spots. I bet he can lean toward a waitress and what I would do any drug he's doing.
Crack. Yeah, he's
I
not
wouldn't.
crazy.
Crack,
I wouldn't do meth.
whatever.
I wouldn't do meth or crack. I do a little coke. Probably.
I bet he does like crocodile.
What's the
scary
help?
Eastern European drugs?
What is the help or like concern issues that of crack cocaine over powdered cocaine? Like I've done powdered cocaine, no big deal. I'm not going to get addicted and do it every day for the next 30 years, so I think I'll be okay. So like, what's the problem with crack? Why can't I just bang out a couple rocks of crack cocaine?
It's frowned upon.
If there's one thing I learned in school, it's crack cocaine once is fine.
Or 2 or 3 times. You can do crack once a month for the rest.
As long
of your
as you're
life.
not addicted
No
to anything, it's probably not that bad.
If you treat crack like ice cream, you'll be fine. Oh, should I?
A once a month treat.
Should I treat myself this? I've been good.
All right, one spoonful. I won't use a bowl. I'll just use a spoon.
Well, I overindulged in ice cream, and so I'm now going to fix it with crack.
But I'm telling you right now, if I'm hanging out with Hunter Biden and he offers me a crack rock, I'm 100% going to smoke it every single time because we're not getting in any fucking trouble. There's no way I go down and he doesn't, and there's no way he goes down. So we're good.
You're a natural fall guy if something did happen.
I was right. I'm recording everything we do. I'm like on camera with Hunter.
Oh, that'll help.
Lighting my rock.
They are going to. You will be melting in a Ukrainian barrel by the end of the fucking evening when they show up and they're like, Hunter, you've been smoking crack, and he's like, I haven't been smoking crack. It's fucking that guy. It's that guy. And they're like, sir, have you been smoking crack? And you're scratching yourself in the corner.
I'm on Facebook Live doing all this. They're not taking me down. No, I would absolutely.
A deep fake video that you are no longer allowed to talk about surfaced on the internet.
I would absolutely hit the crack rock, especially because I would assume that he's an aficionado, that this isn't some street crack. That Hunter Biden, billionaire / 100 millionaire / son of the president, went out to his like connect and was like, give me that good stuff. And they got him like a real good crack rock with that doesn't taste all chemically. It probably tastes like strawberry shortcake. You don't know.
I have this idea there are a few life experiences that'd be really cool to get, right? Wouldn't you want to smoke a J with Snoop Dogg, right? Like he's the guy to pass the blunt with. I think I'm using these terms right. And if I'm with Hunter, we're gonna snort coke off a hooker's ass. That's what he does.
Whatever he wants to do. I mean, we can hide some documents. We can take some bribes from Ukrainians. Whatever he wants to get up to, we can head down to Georgia, maybe hide a few ballots.
I would like
whatever Hunter Biden wants to do.
I would like to do steroids with. I'd like to do steroids with like, Arnold or something. The Rock, yeah.
The Rock. Okay.
Yeah, The Rock knows the good steroids. He's never got acne.
I would have gone Chris Bumstead. That's his name, right?
I don't know who that is.
Oh, really? He's a Mr. Olympia in the classic competition.
Why would you go to the guy who abuses them for a living?
Guy. What's that?
Why don't you go to the guy who abuses them for a living? I want an actor.
He's outstanding at it. His physique's better than The Rock's.
Yeah, but we don't want The Rock. I don't want to be gigantic either way.
I don't think you know this. So there's there we go. Look at that. See, this isn't the open competition. This is classic physique. And like these people actually look pretty aesthetic, maybe a little too big still, but it's not like the size freaks in open.
He looks delicious somehow.
He looks like he fell into Willy Wonka's chocolate river.
I think he tastes like caramel.
He looks like well smoked. Like you could pull off some of that bicep and it would have like a hickory flavor.
Pig.
Yeah.
Suckling pig look.
Can you imagine the macros eating this guy?
Put an apple in his mouth.
Looks so much like Schwarzenegger's to me. So you don't see it?
Arnold's got a bigger chest. Arnold's got a huge chest.
Insane.
Yeah.
I've seen them compared, and I think people consider them to be roughly equal. It's hard to know who's wins.
This guy looks wider. Like this guy's wider, maybe, but Arnold's got the better chest. I think.
Look, the quads are just absurd. Yeah, man, we're doing a lot of male body looking.
Yeah, I'm
Zach, all about it.
To be fair, it's Woody and Zach.
I'll own it.
I'll own it. Dude, sometimes you just need to look at Jeff Nippard for 40 minutes. Sometimes that's just what you need. No way.
Yeah. I was really shocked when she rolled out with the pics the other day. I mean, it's
Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Yeah, at Congress. You saw that. We talked
about you guys mentioned this to me. Yeah.
The blown up photos of Hunter Biden getting blown. I mean, it's Hunter Biden getting his
it was blacked out, right? Or was it real?
They black out like
they blacked out the penis.
They black out just enough of it to make it G-rated and to cover his face. But I'm clearly looking at Hunter Biden getting his dick sucked, and she's on his knees, and he's fully naked in a room. I can make all these things out. There's another one. Hunter Biden has his hands like this with his dick, presenting it to her. It's just like,
dude, that's so fucking funny.
Or maybe it's her hands. It's one of them.
Yeah, I was gonna say
in their hands. Like, I think that she's receiving like this or something, but there it is, blacked out, and you can tell what's going on. It's easy.
Wait, is it an adult woman?
Yeah.
It was a prostitute, a paid prostitute.
That's the
It was a congressional
actually.
hearing about Hunter Biden evading taxes. So she brought up, I guess, his most embarrassing moment.
Well,
I
all
could not
6 of them. She had
less.
multiple photographs. Each photograph had 3 or 4 instances of him getting it on. Because what he liked to do was take money from his the wrong account again, whoopsie daisy, and pay a prostitute to make porn with him. That was his bag. I'm sure it still is. You don't just get past that.
Right.
Do you think he actually wanted to make porn, or it was something where it's like, if we're making porn, it's roundabout legal?
Ooh,
we're not doing this.
Right. Little
we're filming
loophole
this.
there.
We're gonna do a little. I'm a porn producer, actually. I started an LLC at LegalZoom 3 minutes ago, and now
no one has made that. That's such an astute observation, Taylor. I truly believe that is what was going on to some extent.
That would be my guess.
I think that the Hunter Biden laptop was just evidence that he was not paying prostitutes, but was instead a porn star. And was meant to be so the whole time to avoid more serious legal charges.
Or sneakily, like being like, no, it was for we just hadn't distributed them yet. Yes, there's 10 years. You don't need to. You don't need to. We're releasing a huge thing, a big reveal into the industry.
If you don't think Hunter Biden is the coolest presidential child in the history of presidents, then you're the kind of guy who only fucks missionary.
You have to tell us. Wait. You have to points of comparison.
I don't know any others other than Chelsea Clinton and
Chelsea Clinton wasn't
Sasha
funny.
Obama.
The Obamas, I don't know what the hell they're up to. I don't care.
They smoke pot in public. That's the coolest thing the Obama kids did.
I bet George W. was wild as a young one.
He is a presidential child in technically.
Yeah, and so I bet he was good.
Drunk driving, cocaine, car accidents.
Owned baseball teams or owned a minor league baseball team.
Into a coffin, I believe, or something like that.
Maybe
he was in a coffin.
Coke off a hooker's ass, though.
Who has?
That's such a baseline cocaine and hooker thing to do. Like if they were doing cocaine in the realm of hookers and they didn't do that, I'd be like, why? You were in Rome, do it.
It's a huge waste of cocaine.
Really?
I don't know.
I don't know. Well, I mean, if she's some like jittery lady who's going to shake all the coke off her ass, yeah.
I don't think cocaine's that expensive, right? Like all right, if you have a cocaine hat.
As far as drugs go, they're pretty pricey, I think. Right?
But if we wanted to get, like, how much is a gram? I feel like I don't know much about cocaine, but I feel like if we got 2 grams, we'd have a heck of a night. They're like 3-4 guys with like 2 grams of coke. Right?
I bet it's hundreds of dollars for like 2 grams of coke, right? God, I don't know.
Hey Siri, how much is a gram of cocaine?
You can tell none of us do.
Thanks, Siri.
Here's what I found.
Hard drugs, cool kid drugs.
Oh shit.
Hang on, Taylor, let's take a guess before Woody informs.
Okay. 1 gram of cocaine. What do you say?
I'm gonna say a gram of.
How much would a gram of cocaine be?
I'm gonna say a gram of cocaine is $125.
I'm gonna say 180.
184.
Really?
These are 2021 prices, but yeah.
Damn, I didn't even go over, dude. I'm gonna get
you're gonna win prices right on the.
You get the fucking showcase and mine for that.
Get the showcase, and I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna take the risk. I'm gonna go for the door 3. Like,
good one. Yeah,
really, Taylor. You already know door 1 is what you wanted. Yeah, but door 3 could be anything. It could even be door 1.
That's so expensive. That's so expensive for what it is.
But how far does a gram go?
Not far at all.
A gram.
All right, so for like
a gram of powder is not that much. I don't even know how many lines become a gram. We need a drug guy.
I think we'd have like 3 or 4 or 5 nice fatties on a gram of cocaine that everybody would be satisfied with.
Yeah, but it's cocaine, and if you've ever been around people who are doing cocaine,
they constantly back for more.
They do the cocaine, and then like within genuinely like 15 minutes, they're like, I need more cocaine. And it's like, dude, you realize like all the people smoking weed and like drinking beer, they're going to be fucked up on that all night like that. And it's way cheaper. Like you can just get high.
Cocaine? Are you saying it doesn't last or they just want to get higher?
It lasts so short compared to like weed or alcohol or something. And so they'll get gacked out of their mind for 45 minutes and then it starts coming down and you start feeling shitty and they're like, I need more coke. Like it is fucking hilarious being around friends and hearing them like when we were like mid-20s or whatever, and they'd be like, all right, I'm not getting any cocaine tonight. And I'm like, you say that often, I bet you do. And then like late in the night, it's like everyone else is having a fun time, like drunk or smoking weed or whatever. And then these guys are like, guys, where is the hookup? Where's the coke guy? And it's like, you're harshing everybody else's shit right now with your like obsession about needing coke. And then they get it. And there's like a fight between them about like, you did even more than I did. No, I didn't do as much as you. Well, we're already through this fucking like 3 grams or whatever we got.
People
it's like
doing coke. Are they skinny?
Fun.
Yeah, generally speaking.
If they're really into it, but most of the people I've seen were just normal people just doing it.
Coke addicts are skinny.
Yeah, a coke addict would be skinny. Anyone who's addicted to an upper is going to be skinny unless they are playing through the pain in the kitchen.
Yeah, you would think. That's just not. This doesn't interest me at all. No. I would much rather.
It's the most boring drug I've ever done in my life. You're amped up for fucking 20 minutes. You feel pretty good, and then it goes away.
So much better. Like if you've got like a good instant release, 10, 20 milligrams of Adderall, it's such a better ride. There's so much more happiness.
It tastes like shit.
If I'm going to try a new drug, it's going to be Ozempic. That's the way to go.
No, you're not.
I got to look up exactly what
that shit is. You're just going to be sloughing off muscle, but you're like, the weight on the scale goes down. No, you don't want that shit. It seems like that's Ozempic for like morbidly obese
injection that helps lower blood sugar by helping the pancreas make more insulin. It is not approved for weight loss, but some physicians prescribe it to be used for weight loss. I'm going to keep reading because I need to. I don't know what it does.
Mm-hmm.
On average, with the recommended starting Ozempic dosage of 0.25 milligrams, a 500 to 1,000 calorie reduced diet. I don't know if that's reducing it by. I suppose it's reducing it, but on what size person? And exercise 3 times a week. This is stupid. That never mind.
Yeah, it's almost like this is brand new. Like they don't know shit seemingly.
Oh, there's some videos here who explain it, but
there've been so many celebrities on Ozempic. It's like their most effective advertising. I think Ozempic is the next like tadalafil. Like just it becomes widely consumed, and that it has a huge impact on our population once the manufacturing kicks up. Right now, it's rare, scarce is a better word, but it's going to be the next mega drug. It makes people thin.
I think you're right.
Okay, so there's another drug called Wegovy, Wegovy, and it's a higher dose version of Ozempic, and it is approved to help people manage their weight. This includes adults and adolescents age 12 and older who meet certain basically fatties.
Yeah, being fat. Yeah,
yeah, like super fat.
People who only have 4-packs. Disgusting.
There's a picture of a woman here, and she looks like, I don't know, Gimli's mom or something, like big fatties. How it works. I'm really interested. Here's what I would be interested in. Something that I inject and it just kind of does its job at making me get not as fat on as many calories, right? Like however that works. I don't care. I want to be able to eat more. I always want to be able to eat more.
It's an appetite suppressant.
Like it's an appetite, but it doesn't sound like that because it's making the pancreas make more insulin to lower blood sugar. That's how it treats diabetes. I would think that there's a similar mechanism helping weight loss, like something to do with insulin and glucose levels.
I'm out of my depth, but I think Taylor's right. And insulin and appetite are somehow related.
I don't care about appetite suppressant because I have like, I don't know, willpower plus like whatever else. Like I don't need that.
But apparently that's what it is.
Chemicals that make it easier to stay lean.
Well, that's the thing, Kyle, is you are absolutely not the target market for this drug because you have the wherewithal and the discipline that when you want to make a change, you're going to do it. So if the principal benefit is to help someone who has no willpower staying away from chocolates and candy by fixing their insulin so they don't
that's genuinely not a problem.
that wouldn't be good for you because like you don't need that.
Did Kyle say it elevates your insulin or lowers it?
I believe it increases insulin to lower blood sugar but I read it a minute ago and those are very similar sentences.
Speaking of chicks that could probably bench press you, the last time I was on this show, we talked, I think her name is Gina Carano, space cop from Mandalorian.
Yeah.
You know, she got fired from Disney and she joined Ben Shapiro's film company.
Yep.
And the joke was at the time, people were like, Ben Shapiro is going to make her do a bunch of gross sexual things on camera, right? Well, I saw screenshots from the film they produced. It's called My Son Hunter, and it's about like Hunter Biden's laptop. And there's a scene where the actor playing Joe Biden sexually assaults Gina Carano and like comes up and like licks her neck all like gross and slimy. And like that meme actually came to life. She left Disney to go let old dudes lick her neck in propaganda films. Strong female character.
You don't think the Daily Wire movie is going to be a hit? Do you think it's going to be ham-handed?
I think it's hilarious. There's a scene like on the cover art. It's Joe Biden smelling her hair.
Is it really?
And he's going like this, smelling it. Yes. And it's so funny because I literally just rewatched Mandalorian both seasons this week, and I was paying attention to her character, and every time I was like, she ruined her career by tweeting some bullshit. Now she's in a movie sniffing Joe Biden's hair, and she was like, wait. But she's like the second most popular character in this. I'm like, yeah, I know. She's like a star. like all she has to do is keep it zipped, and she's got her own fucking Disney show, and it would be one of the better ones.
That guy's not even Biden looking enough.
Oh, he's close enough. Come on,
he's having
that furrowed brow.
I guarantee once that hair comes down, you can see the rest of the face. You're like, that doesn't look like fucking Joe Biden.
Well, he does a damn good impression. He
does he really?
Just like him. Yeah,
that would be funny if he actually.
You know who does an amazing politician impression? Have you seen? Is it Vice? He plays Dick Cheney.
Yeah.
Oh, who does? Is it Christian Bale that does it?
Yeah, it's Christian
Bale. Yeah. Oh yeah. He like gained a bunch of weight for that and stuff.
Of Christian Bale as Dick Cheney.
I gotta watch that. I love Christian Bale.
Oh my gosh! And I mean, you're gonna see a picture of him looking like Dick Cheney, but his mannerisms and his posture, and he just kills it as Dick Cheney.
The scene where George Bush and Dick Cheney are having lunch, and Bush is eating those hot wings, and he's talking to Cheney about maybe being his VP. Like, it's so good. It's so good. He's a tremendous actor. He's one of the best.
He is.
He went from Batman to Dick Cheney in a very short period of time, and then back to other stuff again.
Looks like Trump's going to win Georgia.
Does it? Is there new information?
It's like 99.9% or something like that, and Trump's 1,900 votes ahead.
So I don't know about this last batch, but the update before that, I calculated
there's 11,000 votes remaining.
75% of the new votes are blue.
Yeah.
So 11,000, 75%. That'd be enough. It would go blue.
That would be enough. If it's 75%.
If that stays like it was before. Yeah.
Sure.
Because there's a lot of Atlanta mail-in ballots, which is like the bluest kind of vote, you know?
Yeah.
So, so if Georgia goes blue, that one was the one the pollsters got right, I guess. They called it barely blue, and it turned out to be barely blue.
Yeah.
So
I think we'll know tomorrow. You know what's going to be what.
What Nevada called. Now, I guess if Georgia actually goes blue, I think it might trigger a recount. It's so close, so we won't know that for a little bit. But if Nevada actually goes, if they call it, then it's done.
You have to remember, did anything change in 2016 on the recount? Not 2016.
It rarely changes.
The Gore one.
That never in my life has the recount changed anything. Now the Gore,
that's what I remember too.
The Gore thing, they went from, I think it's from 1,200 W lead to a 550 W lead. Something, if that's not right, it's really close, but still a W lead. So what Gore wanted to do was just keep recounting and recounting and recounting the Gore counties, because they tend to find more votes. Like when they recount it, you just get more of the same. So he's like, let's just keep counting the Gore shit until I'm ahead. So neither one of them had this like pure as the driven snow sort of like, let's just make sure it's as accurate as possible. Gore was like, let's keep counting my counties. W was like, let's stop counting at all. And there were no angels.
Yep. Well,
it's not a profession that seems to attract a lot of angels.
Of course not.
Not that they survive.
Just the one, just Bernie Sanders.
Actually, he seems like it seems. I don't actually agree with a lot of his policies. You know, I hate the idea of paying for people's college. Like, you are taking the nation's resources and then devoting them to just our most successful, our people with the fewest workplace injuries, the highest salaries, and the lowest unemployment. Let's pay off their debt, right? I don't like the idea on its on the premise, but I believe that when Bernie pitches it, it's coming from a place of good. Even though I don't agree, like, God, that guy's, all of his motivations seem to be from a good place.
Yeah, I agree completely. I mean, exactly what you said. Seems like the nicest guy in the room all the time. Seems like he means has the greatest of intentions for everyone. But I don't agree with him on a lot of things. But I agree with him on enough that I would prefer him as my candidate.
I think we're going to see anything happen.
Because I feel like Congress would. All right, well, hang on a minute.
Right,
maybe not all that. Yeah, all right, you can have. All right, we'll legalize the weed. All right. I guess we won't kill any more black. Yes, we won't. Okay, brown people too. All right, we're not. We need a color chart. How about that? How about Wesley Snipes and darker, open field?
No. They'll be like, we'll give you red. That's it. Nothing else. Poor fucking Elizabeth Warren's like, what the fuck?
Oh no. I am in danger.
But yeah, politics. I like watching it. I had a big politics stream, and we've talked about PKN a little bit, but I live streamed sort of the elections, and my chat loved it. They fucking roasted me for hours and hours because out of the gate, Trump started strong, and then as the absentee ballots got counted, Joe came on strong later. But there was a long period of the stream where I'm just like defeated and bummed out, and chat loved it. They loved it. They just roasted me with the text to speech for hours and hours and hours. But it's $3 a text to speech, and it's like, oh man, a couple more of these, and you're really gonna hurt my feelings. You're right there.
You're so close.
So
here's a bit of breaking news. Vladimir Putin is set to resign as Russian president early next year amid fears he has Parkinson's.
Ooh, did you read that Russia just passed something that says that ex-presidents can't be prosecuted for anything?
Yes, they have lifetime immunity. Coincidentally, Vladimir Putin right about to retire.
Well, that's
what a lucky guy.
That guy's the second coolest person I can think of.
Yeah.
Who's the first coolest?
Obviously Hunter Biden. I mean, did we not see him fucking feet and smoking crack or something in the same picture?
I like at the time, like, so methed or cracked out that he was like, it's a good idea to save these. Like, the
next morning he wasn't doing it on Twitch or something.
Oh no, I gotta get rid of those fucking files. And then next morning,
breaking news: Hunter Biden was unpartnered on Twitch today for well, high on meth.
On Twitch.
I thought that I didn't realize Joe had a couple of sons. When I first heard that, I was like, I thought his son was dead. And they're like, no, that's the other one. I was like, oh shit, the living son is the one like doing crack on the internet.
You just know Joe is like the wrong one died because didn't Hunter fucked his dead brother's wife?
It says more about the wife than him.
I like Joe Rogan's take on this. He's like, humans are complicated. They're messy. After Bo died, I guess she connected with Hunter, and I don't know. Like maybe this is my liberal bias making bad things okay. I'm open to that concept.
Yeah, that's okay. He's dead. It's perfectly fine to slide right on in there.
That's bizarre. That is bizarre.
I can say I agree with the bizarre element, but without any more information about that, like what the fuck,
it would have been expected in olden times,
right? Thank you, Kyle. I was thinking that too. It would have been
traditionalists.
It would have been, he's a traditionalist. But like, it would have been an act of service, a kindness to make sure that his wife was taken care of.
Yeah,
and fucked, hormonally.
Look, he says, a little pillow on his couch. In this house, we follow 5,000-year-old Jewish law.